What AVR should I choose? And should I add a power amplifier? What AVR should I choose is a question we answer almost daily. Facing challenges with what integrated AV receiver to buy is totally normal, especially for beginner home theater enthusiasts. Many people who purchase integrated AV receivers often express frustration because their devices struggle to drive their speakers and fully unleash their potential property. This issue is particularly evident with certain Japanese integrated AV receivers that boast specifications of 100 watt to 200 watt 7-channel nominal power. It's puzzling for many friends to understand why these receivers still can't adequately power the speakers. We have personally experienced a variety of Japanese integrated AV receivers. Those familiar with the history of Aperion audio will recall that we previously sold Japanese integrated AV receivers. In this blog post, we'd like to share our perspectives on the topic for your consideration. If you have different viewpoints, we encourage you to join the discussion in the comments section. Let us first state 2 points and then explain them in detail. Number 1. All Japanese integrated receivers adhere to the JIS standard. Due to space constraints, we won't go into further detail. You can read more about the JIS standard here. Number 2. The power output of most Japanese integrated AV receivers tends to be relatively low for multi-channel home theater setups. This limitation is a key reason for the demand for standalone power amplifiers. Here are some examples of integrated receivers from Japan, without mentioning the brand names, to give you an idea of their actual power and capabilities. It clearly states 235 watt at 6 ohm for 1-channel drive. If anyone takes that figure at face value, they might be deceived and think they are getting more wattage than they are. The crucial detail lies in what's mentioned in the brackets. Here it says 1 kHz. We're referring to audio that consists solely of 1 kHz frequency components, while 10% indicates the level of distortion. Typically, a home theater system is expected to maintain distortion levels below 1%, as our ears can easily detect distortions exceeding 3%. Imagining 10% distortion is quite alarming. It's like living in the constant noise of an airport or train station every single day. Excessive distortion equates to noise. This specification implies that if you play a 1 kHz pink noise signal with a 10% distortion level while driving only one channel, you can achieve a mono power output of 235 watt at 6 ohm. Does that sound reasonable to you? So you should always pay attention to the content in the brackets. That is, the percent of distortion. The best approach is to focus on the column with the lowest distortion percentage, which is found in the second row, 8 ohm, 20 Hz to 20 kHz, 0.05%, to channel driver 125 watt. In this instance, both the distortion levels and power output are more reasonable. When utilizing multiple channels simultaneously, what is the power output for each channel? Naturally, the real power for these channels tends to be significantly lower than the stated total of 125 watt. It's essential to understand that the total power output of a Japanese integrated receiver is fixed, which means the capabilities of its transformer limited. This receiver can only allocate its predetermined power across the channels being used, and it won't produce any extra power beyond that limit. Therefore, if you're unable to find the specific information you believe to be accurate on the websites or specifications of these Japanese brands, how can we determine the actual power output of a Japanese integrated receiver when it's operating in 9-channel mode or more? Here's another example to illustrate the point. The following specification screenshots are from the brand's website. Note, they mentioned a 70% guarantee, but wait, what does a 70% guarantee mean? To start, let's use the method described earlier to determine which row exhibits the lowest distortion percentage. On the third line, it mentions 8 ohm, 20 Hz to 20 kHz, 0.05%, 2-channel drive, 140 watt. Ensure you understand the specifications thoroughly before proceeding with your reading. When all 5 channels are activated simultaneously, what is the actual power delivered to each channel? 5 channels driven, 140 watt multiplies 0.770% guarantee, equal to 98 watt per channel. 7 channels driven, 98 watt, multiply by 0.7 equal to 16.9 watt per channel. 9 channels driven, 16.9 watt multiplied by 0.7 equal to 48 watt per channel. Similarly, as the number of channels increases, the actual power allocated tends to decrease. This limitation arises from the system's physical characteristics from the outset. The overall volume and internal space are so limited that there isn't enough room to accommodate larger transformers and power modules. The actual power of Japanese integrated receivers for multi-channel systems is surprisingly low once you add up the wattage across all channels. Japanese integrated receivers tend to be better suited for smaller bookshelf or satellite surround speakers, making it challenging for them to effectively power larger, high-wattage speakers. In contrast, American and European integrated receivers typically offer significantly greater power output for multi-channel systems. While these Japanese integrated AV receivers boast many advantages and enjoy considerable success in the market with impressive sales figures, this blog post will focus solely on the actual power, or wattage aspect. Aperion created and launched the Energy and Energy Pro Power Amplifiers to address a pressing issue. Given our range of high-powered speakers, including the Virus V8T, Grandis, GR8, and Theatris series, it became clear that many AV receivers lacked the necessary power. Additionally, some power amplifiers on the market boast misleading power ratings, making it even more challenging to drive these speakers properly. Aperion Energy Power Amplifier provides you with an additional choice. However, we also discovered a particularly interesting aspect in the specifications of Japanese integrated receivers. You may notice that typically the official website for brands usually only lists specifications for 6 ohm or 8 ohm without mentioning 4 ohm. We want to point out that understanding the power considerations outlined above sheds light on this omission. A 4 ohm load can push these integrated AV receivers beyond their limits. If you run a large or power-hungry 4 ohm speaker at full volume for an extended period, there is a significant risk that it could damage the amplifier. Just as a horse can only pull 1 cart, expecting it to haul 4 carts at once may keep the carts intact, but it will leave the horse utterly worn out. And the same will happen with AAV receiver pushed too hard. To create a high-quality home theater multi-channel system that delivers impressive sound, it's essential to allocate the right amount of power to each speaker effectively. What AVR should I choose? Here's a quick guide to help you answer that question. Determine the total number of channels your system will have or currently has. List the rated and maximum power for each speaker by channel. Identify which channels can be powered by your AV receiver, noting that some lower power speakers can be used for the height and surround channels. Specify the channels that will require an additional power amplifier, particularly for high power speakers in the front 3 channels. Select the most suitable AV receiver and power amplifier based on your specific needs. It's a good idea to leave some channels open for potential future upgrades. By following these steps, you'll be on your way to answer your previous question. What AVR should I choose? And get a fantastic home theater experience. Many people who already have a power amplifier probably at some point had a lot of concerns or questions about using a power amplifier. A common concern is whether a high power amplifier could potentially damage their speakers. In our next blog post, we'll delve into Aperion's insights and recommendations on this topic. See you next time. That's all for this time. We hope you have a great time. Welcome to our Aperion University series. Here, we will introduce you to basic acoustics knowledge. We hope it will help you. If you like it, please follow us.